The Weedsman Podcast. ChristopherMedia.net.
This is the smell of a warm 3-day-old egg salad sandwich in a wimpy trash bag.
Wimpy, wimpy, wimpy!
Blech. And this is the smell of that same sandwich in a hefty, ultra-strong trash bag with new Fabuloso lemon scent.
Hefty, hefty, hefty!
Smell the difference? When life gives you stinky, get Hefty Ultra Strong with new Fabuloso lemon scent. It smells like clean, freshly picked lemons. So no matter what's inside your trash, you can stop the stink and smell the lemon.
This is the smell of the leftover tuna fish sandwich you left in your lunchbox over the weekend in a wimpy trash bag.
Wimpy, wimpy, wimpy!
Blech. And this is the smell of that same sandwich in a Hefty Ultra Strong trash bag.
Hefty, hefty, hefty!
Smell the difference? Hefty Ultra Strong has Arm & Hammer with continuous odor control, so no matter what's inside your trash, you can stay one step ahead of stinky. And for bigger jobs, try the superior strength of Hefty Large Black Bags.
With Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to... Has anyone seen the bride and groom?
Sorry, we're here. We were getting lucky in the limo and we lost track of time.
No, Lucky Land Casino, with cash prizes that add up quicker than a guest registry.
In that case, I pronounce you lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Daily bonuses are waiting. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Christopher Media. Let's make some noise. From Asthma Core Studios near Detroit, Michigan.
Oh, man.
It's the Weedsman Podcast.
I have no idea what's going on.
And now,
you have smoked yourself retarded.
Here are the Weedsmen.
You want to get high?
Welcome to the Weedsman Podcast. I'm Chris.
I'm Aaron. We're back and hoping that we're in your blunt rotation, your dream blunt rotation.
Are we in your dream blunt rotation?
Yeah, you know that common question that everybody asks all the time about what 4 people would you want to pass around a blunt with?
That in 10 years we've asked nearly once a month.
Yeah,
or never.
Yeah, this is all candidates. That's how they vet them.
Yes, who's in your dream blunt rotation?
Mostly the ones over 70.
Yeah. I want to know what who is in a 74-year-old woman's dream blunt rotation. First of all, does a 74-year-old woman know what a dream blunt rotation is?
I mean, she's promoting Elizabeth Warren, who we're talking about. She's promoting legalization of marijuana, right? So I would assume that she knows what's being said. Like,
I feel if you say the words dream blunt rotation to a 74-year-old, they might assume you're making shit up.
Like, dream blunt rotation doesn't even sound like it.
Sounds like a band.
It does. I was going to say it sounds like a Stone Temple Pilots album or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, dream blunt rotation is one of those things.
It's the Lost Cypress Hill rock project.
Yeah, it just sounds like nonsense until you think about it for 2 seconds. You're like, oh, that's right. Yeah, it actually has a meaning.
I want to know who asked a 74-year-old woman who is in her dream blunt rotation.
Who's in your DBR, dude?
Yeah.
I don't know. Was she at?
Which, by the way,
Oh, is this John Favreau? Favreau. Is there another Favreau?
Come on, Favreau. Isn't he older than us? If you're over than 50, you shouldn't be allowed to say dream blunt rotation unless you're Snoop Dogg.
Speaking on an episode of Pod Save America, Warren was asked by John Favreau to pick a list of people whom she'd like to share a blunt. Yeah, and one of those people was Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Like, one of the most intense fucking dudes on the planet.
I find the man I find him entertaining. I would not want to smoke weed with him.
I'd rather smoke weed with Arnold. If we're going to talk about big, intense dudes, that's a dude that looks like you can let go a little bit and, have a good conversation.
And at some point you get so high, you just start laughing at him talking.
Yeah. Like Dwayne The Rock. First of all,
say it again, Chopper.
I don't even know if The Rock gets high.
He probably does.
You think? I'm sure he has.
Dude, I have discovered getting super fucking high and running. It took 44 fucking years.
Just screaming. You get so high, like shit's chasing you.
No, just like cranking
around the house, up and down the stairs.
No. I get how that comes across. But I mean, at the gym.
Yes.
Like, just cranking up the vape pen in the parking lot and then just picking a good playlist and just fucking...
Yeah.
Like, a couple weeks ago, I was like, oh, I get it now. Like, dude, when I first found out what the cross-country
Get in the
team...
zone.
When I first found out what the cross-country team was, I was like 15. I was like, wait, what? They do what? It's a team that just what? They just run?
Yeah.
Long distances? On purpose?
Yeah.
Like, it blew my... Dude, you don't understand. I have vehemently opposed and I've hated running, like, my entire existence. And, like, a month ago, I was like, oh, I get it.
Yeah, because once you get past that, like, little pain in your ribs, like, right underneath them, and you get past that point where you're thinking about being tired, you're in the zone.
I call it the wall.
And,
it's the first 5 minutes. And it's actually 2 walls. It's first 3 minutes. First 3 minutes, you're just making bargains with yourself.
Yeah.
Oh, I can... maybe I don't have to do it today. I'll just do a little less.
Yeah.
I'm fucking tired. You get to 3 minutes, you're like, all right, this isn't so bad, but I could still shorten it up. And then you get past 5 minutes, and you're like, after you get past 5 minutes, you're like, oh, I'm done already?
Yeah.
Like, oh, I could keep
going. I envy
going.
you, actually, because, like, I just don't have the endurance lung-wise for that type of... I can run, but past 5 minutes, I'm done.
Oh, we are wildly off topic, but you would be a good person to ask. But is childhood asthma a thing?
Yeah. It was for me. I spent a period... I had asthma from, I want to say, maybe about 7 to 12, and then just nothing. And then in my early 20s, when I moved downtown, it came back. I think it was maybe environmental, there was the incinerator still.
Well, because I was telling my
girlfriend,
away. I remember, like, as a kid, like laboring to breathe when I would do, like, shit like running. Like, the mile in gym class was my own personal hell for fucking 12 years.
Yeah.
Like, I was always the kid dead last. Like, kids fatter than me were passing me up, finishing before me. And I recall, like, laboring to breathe, and now I'm like, dude, like, Super Bowl Sunday, I ran for 2 hours.
Damn.
Like, I ran an hour before I left where my girlfriend lives, and then came back and because I just wanted it all to not count. Because it was Super Bowl Sunday.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, you tell me that 10 years ago plus, I'd be like, what advances in medical science have happened that I can all of a sudden do this?
Right,
drive a robot body now?
Did I get metal legs?
Yeah.
Yeah, if I have legs that run on their own, I'm sure I'd do it.
Yeah. So I guess maybe I didn't, because, like, I don't even get winded. But I recall, like, laboring. I recall, like, wheezing, like, going, like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. Maybe I was just wildly out of shape. I don't know.
Sure. I don't know, maybe I could push past it, because, like, I always kind of wanted to be my dad was a runner, and he really enjoyed it. But he never had any problems with asthma or anything either. I don't know. Yeah, maybe it is a wall that I can actually put, but I've tried, and, like, a 15-minute run will just put me down.
Well, yeah, because you were currently, I was just wondering if it was a thing, because it's an issue I no longer have.
Mm-hmm.
Which
yeah, it's totally a thing. I mean, it's I don't know. Well, I don't know if they really know what asthma is, and there's different types. Like, I have allergy triggered asthma, so pretty much anything. Like, I thought it was just cats, but even living without cats, fucking everything else in the environment will still, all the dust. All the skin cells floating around.
Yes.
All the dust mite shit floating around.
But wait, now back to talking shit about Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah. I wouldn't, like, Dwayne Johnson, like, you would get high with him and he'd probably be telling you about, like, what he should be doing right now. Or what he'd usually be doing right now. Either way, Dwayne Johnson is probably going to make you feel bad about yourself while you're getting high with him.
But not intentionally, because when you...
No, I don't think of him as an asshole.
When you watch interviews with him, he seems like he generally, like, he's always... he's in a good mood. He's a positive dude. But no, I get what you're saying. Like,
yeah. Well, I think, like, I think he's probably a good person to be your friend.
He would make
right?
you feel bad just by being him. Like,
Yeah.
dude, I need to make some changes.
But also,
I'm not doing this.
I don't feel like he would, like who would I want to smoke? As somebody who I don't really want to meet anybody famous unless they actually would hang loose. Like the stories that you hear about Bill Murray.
Right.
Right? That's the type of story that I want, but you can't create those. You can't anyway.
I think when I was younger, it'd have been like Hunter S. Thompson. But two things. A, dead.
Yeah.
And B, I think now I'd be like, dude, I'm just trying to be high. Well, you just shut up.
Yeah.
I think he would be in that.
He'd be
he
a
would
bit
be in that
much.
category with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson as Too Intense, but different category of Too Intense.
Let's see. I guess she was given a list of names. Why would she?
So hey, who on our list? Not right. Why? Because she probably would have told the young person some names she wouldn't even known and made her feel like an idiot. Or I'm sorry, them.
Yeah, this is a dumb list. Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Bernie Sanders, Janet Yellen, The Rock, and Massachusetts Senator Ed Markey. I'd have to go with Ed Markey because I don't even know who the fuck he is, and he's probably the most chill out of any of those people.
I can see why she picked The Rock. Hey, nice list of stiffs.
Yeah.
The Rock sounds like the most... Take Dream Blunt rotation out of that. Which people of these... What people on this list would you want to have dinner with? Yeah. The Rock. I would not want to have dinner with Joe Biden. He wouldn't remember it. Kamala does not sound like she is a blast at parties.
Jeez.
Nice list of stiffs. Of course she picked... I think this is a setup.
Well, there is also Nancy Pelosi was on the list. No.
I rest my case. No. Who would you rather hang out with?
Chuck Schumer, Taylor Swift, maybe. Snoop Dogg. That's not even a choice.
Right.
Like, if you're going to be near Snoop Dogg, the blunt's going to be passed around.
Yeah. Who would you rather spend a day with? Hitler, a bag of puppies, or I'll insert something else horrible. I feel like it's a list they're setting her up.
Yeah, it's like, what's your favorite snack? Carrots, celery, an apple, or a Twinkie.
Yeah.
And she didn't, I guess.
You're roaming through the desert. You come across a pile of glass and a dead vulture. Which one do you eat?
Is this a Voight Kampf test? Are you trying to prove I'm an android right now? Speaking of Bill Murray, have you seen the Lay's potato chips commercials?
No.
There's a series of, you might want to look them up. So I bet you could find, but there's a series of Lay's potato chips commercials featuring the actors whose name I forget. I've read his book too, and it was really good.
Oh, wait, the Ryerson?
The guy who plays Ned Ryerson.
Stephen Tobolowsky.
Thank you. Stephen Tobolowsky, who's really good. Like, everybody knows him from Groundhog Day, but he's a really good actor, really smart guy, a good writer. He's an amazing storyteller. If you ever get a chance to catch an interview with him or anything, or him on a podcast.
He is in quite a disturbing episode of Law & Order. SVU.
Is he?
Oh, yeah.
What is he? Is he like play some kind of serial killer or something?
No.
Because I bet he'd be good at that.
He is a reformed chomo who gets accused of being a chomo again. Ends up being wrongly...
Chomo?
Child molester.
That's
what they call him on SVU.
Chomos.
Yeah. And then it gets
that sounds too close to homo, right? Like, you can't say that anymore.
This was 2020 something they were saying.
Okay.
But gets wrongly accused, and spoiler alert for a show that's been on for fucking 25 years, and then goes out in a blaze of glory by just getting in a car and fucking like ramming it into like a parked semi. Just like kills himself in front of everybody. He's like, I'm not going back. I'm not going through this shit again.
They should have done that in the first place, right? Sounds like it ended well.
But the whole point was he killed himself and he didn't have to because he was wrongly accused.
Oh, he's wrong. That's
that was
right.
His storyline.
I forgot about the wrongly accused part.
Here we go again.
Trouble?
Oh, the store just won't close. Ooh, looky who's got Lay's. Man, those perfectly seasoned little slices of sunshine sure do keep me coming back.
You said it.
And I'll say it again.
Wow, that's the worst of them. The best one is the one where he's just staring her down. She's like doing her spiel, like, I got some chips, huh? And he's just giving her dead eyes. And then repeats again, and he like starts saying everything she's saying.
Oh, the store just won't close. Ooh, looky who's got Lay's. Man, those
This time it's the
Lay's
barbecue.
barbecue
The first one,
do
it was
keep
the
me
regulars.
coming back.
You said that already.
And I'll say it again.
Sure. Why not?
Okay. Like,
now he's got sour cream and onion.
Here we go again.
I didn't see any of these.
Oh, the store just won't close. Ooh, looky who's got Lay's.
I was looking around.
Those Lay's sour cream and Yum-Yums just keep me coming back.
You keep saying that.
And I'll say it again.
Okay. I just said, like...
Now he's got, like...
But these are all different commercials?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Now he's got cheddar cheese.
The store just won't close.
But it doesn't... On its own, it's just two people laughing strangely about something you have no... Like, unless...
Yeah, unless they run them all in a row, yeah.
It doesn't make any
You
sense.
said it. And I bet
And
you'll
I'll say it again.
Yeah, wow. The ones I saw were actually better, and I thought they were pretty lousy.
We're only 2 minutes in.
Here we go
Now he's got the pickled
Okay.
chips. Now he's dead-eyeing her.
I get it.
Ooh, looky who's got Lay's. Man, those delicious Lay's dill pickle biscuits. I said those delicious
See,
Lay's dill pickle.
This makes more sense because it actually repeats in the in the same commercial.
Now he just takes him and walks away.
Here we go again. This
This
drawer
drawer
just won't close.
Ooh, looky who got Lay's.
Man, those tart little lazily moans just keep
So-
me coming back.
You said it.
But why
Say it
doesn't
again.
why doesn't she stop? Right?
She's been kind of giving him weird looks.
She's giving him weird looks, but like
Oh my God, there's 2 more of these left.
Okay.
Drawers are tricky, aren't they?
Oh, this drawer just won't close. Ooh, looky who's got Lay's.
I just got these for you because I know how much you love them.
You're right. These Lay's chili limon sweet and spicy snacks
Is he
just
falling in love with her now?
keep me coming back.
And I'll be back. Because I'm never going to get out of here.
All right, grand finale.
This drawer just won't close.
Is he gonna break the loop?
Looky who's
Got
got
the
Lay's.
flaming hot.
Are we in hell?
Security! Spicy customer with the Lay's Flamin' Hot registered too.
Let me out of here.
Do you know how many Lay's flavors there are?
No.
You're never getting out of here. We haven't even gotten to the Lay's Veggie Poppables yet.
Ooh, they make veggie poppables?
There you go.
Okay. I mean, on its own, you've got one commercial where she's just talking about how great Lay's are, and he's going, "I'm in hell." Right?
Right, yeah.
Like, and
yeah, like you have to see all of them in a row for them to make sense.
yeah, it doesn't make sense as an ad campaign. Also, I'm sure you wanted Bill Murray for this
it would have
originally.
made more sense with Bill Murray.
Yeah, but to just take a character from the movie and you're like, it's happening to this guy now.
And I was hoping for a dark ending like the last one, he fucking kills himself or some shit.
Right.
But I figured you don't want suicide on the Super Bowl.
Well, he does say he's in hell, so
Yeah.
it's pretty close.
And she tells him he's never getting out of there.
Yeah, I would usually isn't the commercial line would be put a twist on it. Like, this is going to repeat over and over again, but you don't care because you love Lay's, right? And you're like, well, if this is my life, at least I've got endless variety of chips. Every day I can choose a new one. Somebody's writing this down like, God damn it, that's what it should have been.
And they could have got Andy McDowell.
And that's not confusing.
Like, she's booked. She wasn't free for the commercial.
Doing? Yeah, you get the guy who, while memorable, really just had I guess he had the one scene, but he had the one scene probably that repeated the most, right?
Ned?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, that's when he was doing it to him. Ned Ryerson?
Needle Nose Ned. I saw Madam Web over the weekend.
What's that?
Contributed to some of its paltry box office gross. That was the superhero movie that was going up against the Bob Marley One Love docudrama.
How's that turd doing?
51 million. Let's see. It made 51 million on what they're saying is a $70 million price tag. Usually they don't include the advertising budget, so just double that. So it's got to make 140 million to break even.
So not well.
I mean, I bet you that this will probably have a longer tail than most movies, although that being said, that probably means 2 months in the theater these days. I bet you it'll have a lot more traction on streaming. Maybe even some halfway decent Blu-ray sales, although those don't seem to be doing too well anywhere.
Those are a thing?
I don't know. I bet you that it'll eventually make its money back, but not enough for a sequel.
Buffalo Soldier?
Yeah.
Now he's pissed.
Yeah, this was seen as a moment for superhero films, right? Because previously, any kind of superhero film, no other studio would want to chance it. They didn't want to put their movie up against anything and chance getting trounced, because nobody who works in the studio seems to have a good idea of what makes these films successful or not. They just see it as like a set thing. It's like a cowboy film, like a Western. Like, well, Westerns aren't selling anymore? Okay, let's go. Let's make other movies.
I've never seen it, but I would look at Endgame, because isn't it like the most profitable?
Look at Endgame for what?
I mean, for what makes them successful? Like, didn't it make like the most money ever?
Sure. Well, yeah, but what made that successful? You couldn't take the elements that made Endgame, both parts, successful and make them on their own as a one or even a two-part movie, right? What made Endgame successful was the 20 movies that came before it that everybody went and saw and was actually engaged with. But this, I don't think nobody expected anything from Madam Web, because who's Madam Web?
I don't know what that is.
Right. Nobody knows who it is, because it's not a character that, I don't think that she's escaped the comic pages before now. And even in the comics is not like a super popular character, because it's an old blind lady in a wheelchair. So it's not the flashiest of all supervillains.
Ooh, Rotten Tomatoes.
I should say villains, because it's actually, Madam Web is a villain.
Nobody on Rotten Tomatoes is fond of this movie.
What did it score?
Well, with the critics, a whopping 13.
Wow.
And with the audience, 56.
The audience is closer. I would have put it a bit higher than that. I was thinking like 65.
I mean, for perspective, the Bob Marley's 43 with critics and 93 with the audience.
Really?
That movie looks like it's a fucking turd.
It does, yeah. I don't know. Like, Madam Web wasn't that bad, although there were elements of it that were laughably bad, and I can see how that kind of sticks out for you. There's a lack of attention to detail in the movie.
Well, Sidney Sweeney's in it, so I'm guessing everything was low cut.
No, actually, they kind of nerded her up.
Oh.
They nerded her up in the movie way. So, I mean, she was wearing, while she wasn't like revealing any skin per se, she was flouncing around in a schoolgirl's uniform.
Oh, fair enough.
The whole time.
All right, acceptable.
So,
but she's got an amazing rack.
She does, yeah. I don't see what people see in her other than that. She's just kind of dopey looking, and everything that I've seen her in, she's just like, ugh.
Oh boy, here we go. A podcast I listened to said she looks a little bit downsy.
She does yeah. She does.
Like she's got a touch of the downs.
Yep.
But that rack, just saying. Have you seen the Rolling Stones video have you seen the Rolling Stones video where she's in it? It's a commercial for her rack.
Yeah. What's the Dave Attell joke? I can't remember the setup, but it doesn't matter because the punchline is she may be retarded, but those titties ain't retarded. He's talking about
no, I know
$2.30 in the McDonald's. Plus tax. He's being like drunk at a McDonald's and going like. Yes. You got no prospects and you're checking out the girl making the fries.
Yeah.
So, I'm just quoting, folks. Yeah, Dakota Johnson is she's kind of dopey herself. Like I thought she was actually decent in this. She kind of pulls it off well, but she's not overall like a really super engaging actor to watch.
I mean, can we look at her genetic makeup and their body of work?
I mean, it's so crazy. It's actually more than just Don Johnson and who's her mother? Melanie Griffith. Melanie Griffith's mother is an actor. I'm blanking. She was raised by Antonio Banderas, who is Melanie Griffith's other husband. She wasn't raised by her father, which is probably why she can still act.
No, that's what I'm saying. With her genetic makeup, like, are we surprised she's not that great of an actor? I mean,
I'd be surprised if she wasn't an actor, but
weren't exactly a lot of award nominations thrown Don and Melanie's way. Just saying.
I get your meaning. I don't know. Like I said, she's not super engaging, but she's not bad.
Like Tom Hanks got Colin Hanks, but he also got Chet Hanks.
I mean, I feel like if the script was better and it was a better directed movie, I think she would be good in it. I mean, if it was I don't feel like she was a thing weighing it down. Like if this was a decent movie and she was still in it, I don't think that would affect it. She was far from the worst thing going on in it. But yeah, it's just, there were silly things that my daughter and I went and saw it, and we were both kind of making fun of it throughout. But it has a lot of promise in its setup because it's kind of like a teen thriller, like Final Destination, seeing your own death kind of thing. But then it just dissolves into nothing. Like it just, I mean, it ends in the same way that like either in a dark open field or a rooftop. That's what every superhero movie ends the same way these days. And there's a big battle and shit falls on people and people fall off of things and you're like, okay.
Then there's an ending that may or may not dictate another movie.
Yes.
Depends on how the box office goes.
There's exactly that. But yeah, there's, it's still entertaining. Like I still stick with, my 65 out of 100, I'd say. But I knew like early on, I'm like, there's just, not a lot of people paying attention to what's going on in this movie because there's this scene.
Including the director.
There's this scene where Dakota Johnson's character is she's an EMT, right? Her and Adam Scott, who plays Ben Parker, who is Uncle Ben, the uncle to Peter Parker. So this takes place in 2003, and in this universe, Peter Parker isn't born yet, or isn't born yet, but in utero.
So this is a Spider-Man prequel.
Yeah, it's kind of a prequel. So, Madam Web, her character is actually friends with Ben Parker. But that's not pertinent to this. They're at a scene. There's some big crash or something, and there's all these people all around, and everybody's working on, and Dakota Johnson's character is giving compressions. I guess that's what you call it. It's not full CPR. Like, they don't blow in the mouth anymore. They just keep
chest compressions.
Yeah, they just keep the heart going, right? Mm-hmm. So she's doing that on this guy, and she's looking around the whole time at everything else that's going on around her. And the guy's like kind of just laying on the ground with his mouth open, and you can kind of see I think his eyes are open. And I'm like, what's wrong with this guy, right?
Yeah.
And she's just pumping away and looking around. And then somebody was like, oh, we need you over here. And then she goes, okay, looks down at the guy. You're going to be okay. And walks off. And I'm like,
what'd you do?
Was he dead? Was
he choking on a chicken bone?
Was he breathing? Was his heart stopped? Because if not, what the fuck were you doing?
Did you knock him down and take his wallet? And it was all a ruse?
All they were missing was that one little shot of the guy just going and coming back, right? And you're like, okay, she did it, right? But if you don't give us that, then it's just kind of important. She just walks away, you're going to be okay? In what? The next life? Because the guy's not moving or saying anything. And I can't believe how much it actually does pull off for what it's trying to do, which is establish two different villain characters. Well, Madam Web's kind of I wouldn't call her a villain. She's a villain in the comics. I don't know what they want her to be in the movies. She's just kind of an asshole. Her character is not really all that likable.
Oh, are we doing the anti-hero thing again?
Yeah,
are we bringing that back?
I guess that's what they're trying to make her. So, full on spoilers for this. Madam Web, because of some spider power thing, can see the future, gets glimpses of the future, right? And gets glimpses of these specific girls that are dying, that she finds and saves, because this guy is trying to kill him, because he's also getting these spider visions where these girls in more distant future grow up to be individual spider themed superheroes who then kill this guy, right? So he's like, I'm going to find them when they're still helpless little teenagers and kill them before they can kill me when they grow up to be superheroes.
I feel this all leads to Adam Scott, 4 movies from now being like, man, does spider shit again?
This movie, it leads to Adam Scott being gone out of the movie in 15 minutes, only to pop up just at the end to wrap
really?
things up. He is not a major player. He's kind of just there to be
to remind you that, hey, this is Spider-Man.
Yes, yeah. Maybe there's a chance that eventually we'll bring him back and we'll see him die as Uncle Ben and whatevs. But then you'd have, that's got to be harsh on, because now you got to go 20 years in the future to even get to the point where Spider-Man's old enough to be Spider-Man. Well, not even 20, I guess.
Not to sidetrack. Which Uncle Ben came first? Because I always think about the rice guy.
I don't know.
Whenever I hear Uncle Ben.
Spider-Man was, I want to say 60.
Oh, the rice then.
Yeah,
the rice has been around since the early 20th century.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, Amazing Tales, it was 61, I want to say. I think Fantastic Four and Spider-Man came out, in the same month, I think.
Oh, wait, isn't it just now Ben's Rice? Didn't they change the name a few years ago?
Wait, because the uncle was the problem?
Right. 43. Yeah, it's now just Ben's original, and the logo's gone.
So the rice came first, and the character in the comics was just Stan Lee looking around his kitchen going, what can we name this guy?
Uncle Ben.
Uncle Ben. That's a...
Because always when you talk to Spider-Man, I have to train my brain like, no, we're not talking about a black guy. I'm talking about Peter Parker's uncle.
Yeah.
Not sure about the man's affinity for rice. They didn't really talk about his diet in the comic books.
Never comes up. Actually, speaking of Uncle Ben is the character who has the Spider-Man line of "with great power comes great responsibility." That comes from the comics. Might even be those original Amazing Fantasy that Spider-Man first appeared in. But that's been, a line that's existed with Spider-Man, I believe, since his creation. And it certainly, is a common theme that pops up in the movies.
I feel like it's a Winston Churchill line.
Yeah, maybe. Again, it's Stan Lee, so he's lifting it from somewhere. Yeah. But in this movie, one of the characters says, I believe to Madam Web, he says, when you take on great responsibility, with it comes great power. So they just flip it, I guess. They're like, no. When you take on the responsibility, you get power, not the other way around.
Correct. And by the way, Spider-Man is being credited with the origin. It's saying it was like it has no known origin, but its popularity comes from Spider-Man.
No known origin? Well, I mean, that's...
Well, they're saying it was around before Spider-Man, but they don't know who came up with it, but Spider-Man is what
I see
gets credited now with...
Well, I think, like most things, the concept was around, and somebody probably said it a million different ways, but, it was that concise language that cut through. Plus, one of the most iconic costume designs that has ever existed.
The Weedsman Podcast. ChristopherMedia.net.
This is the smell of the leftover tuna fish sandwich you left in your lunchbox over the weekend in a wimpy trash bag.
Wimpy, wimpy, wimpy!
Blech! And this is the smell of that same sandwich in a hefty, ultra-strong trash bag.
Hefty, hefty, hefty!
Ah, smell the difference? Hefty Ultra Strong has Arm & Hammer with continuous odor control, so no matter what's inside your trash, you can stay one step ahead of stinky. And for bigger jobs, try the superior strength of Hefty Large Black Bags.
Lucky Land Casino, asking people, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
Lucky? In line at the deli, I guess?
Aha, in my dentist's office. More than once, actually.
Do I have to say?
Yes, you do.
In the car before my kids' PTA meeting.
Really?
Yes.
Excuse me, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
I never win and tell.
Well, there you have it. You can get lucky anywhere, playing at LuckyLandSlots.com. Play for free right now. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Hey guys, it is Ryan. I'm not sure if you know this about me, but I'm a bit of a fun fanatic when I can. I like to work, but I like fun too. It's a thing. And now the truth is out there. I can tell you about my favorite place to have fun. Chumba Casino. They have hundreds of social casino style games to choose from with new games released each week. You can play for free anytime, anywhere. And each day brings a new chance to collect daily bonuses. So join me in the fun. Sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Coincidence? I think not. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere, even at 30,000 feet. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
No purchase necessary. VGW. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
If you've been hurt by a truck, you can call Colombo Law 24/7 and we'll be there to make sure you're taken care of. When someone is hurt by a truck, Colombo Law is the law firm people call to get answers. Hurt by a truck? Call Colombo Law.
ChristopherMedia.net. The Weedsman Podcast.
Did you hear that Sam Mendes is doing Beatles biopic series?
I saw something like this today. Is it 4 movies? So I'm guessing each Beatle gets their own movie?
No. John gets 2, Ringo's none.
Wow.
Which is what everybody would want. No, I'm kidding. It's a 2-part John Lennon, no Ringo.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to divide it up equally based on people's interest, that's what you would get.
Right.
No, yeah, he's doing 4 movies that it says they will be each movie from a perspective of a band member. So I wonder, let's see, are these all going to come out at the same time? Let's see, Sony will finance and distribute the movie series worldwide in theaters in 2027. Schedule for the rollout of films has yet to be announced. Yeah, boy, so...
The Ringo movie's called I'm Just Glad to Be Here.
Yeah. Yeah, who goes last? It sounds like they can't just release these all as one dump. Like, they probably do one after another. But if they're all... If it's actually going to tell the same story... You want to create demand,
you do Ringo first.
Yeah. Although, I'm a Ringo defender.
Hold on, he's a competent drummer?
Yeah. I mean, the least talented Beatle, who wouldn't want to be that?
Right.
You know?
I mean, is he winning a drum off with Neil?
That's like saying, well, yeah, I'm rich, but I'm number 10 on the top 10 Forbes list, right? I'm all the way at the bottom. I'm the least wealthy guy on the list. Like, who gives a shit?
Like, he wouldn't win in a drum off against Neil Peart, although, I mean, ultimately, I guess he did. Because he's still here.
Yeah.
And Neil Peart is not.
Yeah.
He won the drum-off battle of life.
Well, but then again, how do you judge a drum-off? Like, if the drum-off is to play along with a Beatles song, I think Ringo would still win it.
True. Which, by the way, Ringo, wow, it's crazy. 83, just nothing but black hair. It's crazy how that just...
Yeah.
Wow. Some 83-year-olds, nothing but white. Ringo Starr, it's all black. It's crazy.
Well, if you watch that, the documentary, what was it called? Get Back? What was the Peter Jackson one? The long ass one.
Get Back.
Yeah. If you watch Get Back, I think that shows how much Ringo really was the glue that held that band together. I think they would have imploded earlier, and they would have probably been less productive as a band. Because they'd be, probably too much infighting, wanting to do their own things. Like,
didn't he quit for a couple weeks?
Ringo? I think that was George. George was the one who fucked off to a cabin for a while they were still recording. But no, Ringo was pretty steadfast, I believe. Because the series will be done with the full cooperation of the Beatles and their Apple Corps.
They should say, with full cooperation of the 2 Beatles that are left.
I mean, that goes without saying, because how else could you... Well, I guess they did they did Backbeat, right? That was like kind of an unauthorized Beatles movie.
Yeah.
Where I'm sure they took many liberties.
How?
Good soundtrack.
How is Yoko still fucking with us? How?
What do you mean? She's not fucking with anyone. She's just making weird-ass art.
How is she still with us?
Oh.
How is she still fucking still on this planet?
I don't know. But she's not that old, is she? It's not like she's over 100. So what? She's out. Why wouldn't she be here? This is fucking 2024. People live a long time.
If George Harrison gets cancer, Yoko's still here. She is 91 years old. She is 91.
Oh, damn.
And John couldn't get 50?
Didn't that, there was the 2-part doc on John Lennon that came out, I think on Max? I meant to watch that. I wonder if it's any good.
Oh, she just had a birthday on Sunday. Well, happy birthday, Yoko. God willing, we'll get a century out of her.
I'm a Yoko defender as well.
I do not think she broke up the Beatles. I just think she makes terrible art.
Yeah, that's fine. Art's subjective. So saying somebody makes terrible art is totally legitimate.
No, I think the Beatles were going to break up anyways. She just happened to be one of the players.
She's that, yeah.
And if you're gonna,
happen to be around.
And if you're gonna throw it at any, you got to throw Linda Eastman in there too. You can't just blame Yoko.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, going back to Get Back, I mean, I think that pretty much shows that the image that we had of, Yoko horning in on recording sessions and, trying to be a Beatle didn't happen in those sessions.
She was there because John wanted her there if she was there.
Yes.
John was like, hey, I brought her.
And there's also, they have a jam session with her, but they're just fucking around. They're just, killing time or having fun or whatever. When they're actually playing Beatles songs, she's just sitting there fucking minding her own business. This is not her thing. But when it comes to John Lennon solo, that was very much like he invited her into all of that shit.
Yeah.
So, I don't put it on Yoko that she got up there and, when the famous footage of like him playing with Bo Diddley.
No, Chuck Berry.
I remember Chuck Berry. Yes, sorry.
I remember watching that as a teenager. I thought it was crazy when Adam Carolla watched it. I remember my one buddy, Rob St. Mary, you remember him?
Yeah.
He got those. Remember he got those on those cassette that, what was it, the Rolling Stones Rock and Roll Circus?
Yes.
He got those on video cassette. And I don't know,
Yep.
some weekend in high school, hey man, come over, we'll get high and watch these.
They're pretty good.
Yeah, and we were watching them, and we were laughing our balls off.
And
we were
his
like,
eyes bug out.
Well, yeah, but to it, just what she was doing.
Yes.
We were like, all these guys got to be like, check your bitch homes.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
What is happening on stage right now?
Yep.
Like,
but it's like it's the frog and the scorpion. You invited her on stage.
Yeah.
You knew what she does.
Yes.
Like, don't be mad at Yoko for doing what Yoko does. Be mad at John for not knowing where Yoko fits in. For not saying, hey, I'm going to do this thing with a legend of rock and roll. We're going to do some straight rock and roll, okay? So maybe sit this one out.
Yeah, because that was John sitting in with one of his childhood heroes.
Yeah. Yeah, but the face is fucking priceless.
Yeah.
The way his eyes just bug out of his head.
Look, because Chuck's in her dialogue. He's like, are you fucking serious?
Yeah.
What?
I thought we were having a good time.
Yeah. Is this bitch on stage right now doing this?
Yeah, I was going to try. I was looking earlier at, there was a story about how, scientists determined an actual, like, how long a person can live. But it was bullshit anyway.
176 years?
No, I think they're just looking at it. We don't know for sure. Right?
Oh, they mean like they can tell how long a person could live, like analyze you and be like, hey, here's when you're going to die.
No, not an individual.
Oh.
Yeah, not just any given individual. So, I mean...
Would you want to know?
Would I want to know personally?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Someone was like, I could tell you when you're checking out.
No.
No, yeah. No, man.
I was just really trying to think if there would be any bonus to it.
You would live your life different.
Yeah.
You would totally alter how you live your life.
Yeah. I think you would. Well, yeah, I mean, it doesn't make any sense either way. Because, like, what do you do? Like, if you find out you're going to live until, 95, so then I just start eating like shit and driving like shit? You
start going out like Bill Murray and Groundhog Day?
Yeah.
Do whatever I want.
Yeah.
I'll make it to 95. I know this. And then, yeah, right. Hey, you're going to die in a plane crash when you're 50. Well, I'll just never take a plane.
Yeah, I think, like people who believe in actual predeterminism, like that there's a set structure to the universe that it's still plotted out before. That's insane. Like, I don't even know how you live that way. If I actually knew and believed that everything was predetermined, I think I would fall apart. Like, I wouldn't know how to make any decisions. Or I'd just fucking give up. What does it matter?
Right. I like to think that, I'm the one at the wheel.
Yeah. Well, I think, there's a healthy balance that you have to have, right? The amount of control, it's the fucking, what do they call it? The prayer.
It's control what you can control.
Yeah, exactly. Lord, give me the wisdom and the patience and all that shit. Which is, it's a smart saying, but still, you're talking to an imaginary person, so.
It's true.
Just replace Lord with please. You're fine.
Right.
Time to reset my iPad. You know, they say don't bother closing out your apps on the iPhone.
I still do.
Yeah. It makes no difference. Apple's like, they're not running. I know you see a picture of them. We took that picture and showed it to you. So, you know, as a reference for where you're at. But it's not actually.
Apple. You don't have my OCD, and I still closed them.
Yeah. They also said stop putting your shit in rice because all that does is clog up your port.
Hey, well, guess what? The fucking few times I've needed it, it's worked.
Yeah. I think it worked previously when these things were more porous. These days, they've really got these things sealed off.
Well, no, my iPhone 3G, it absolutely saved it.
Yeah.
I dropped it in the fucking toilet.
I believe it. Yeah.
And put that bitch in rice, and it worked fucking 3 hours later.
Yep.
And it did not work when I pulled it out of the toilet.
Yeah, but these days, I think people put it in rice because they just, you know, don't want anything to happen to it. But if it's not freaking out immediately, then, you know, dry it off, let it. They say, like, prop it up so that if there's anything in the charger port, it'll drip out. But other than that, just let it air dry. Because I think at this point, the way that they have these things sealed up, if water gets in, I don't think rice is going to dry it out anyway. I think you're toast.
Wet hands, well, not this one yet, but 2 phones now, or 1 phone, wet hands all over it.
Yeah.
6 months a year. Doesn't matter.
Yep.
Works like a champ. The only time the moisture gets annoying is with the screen.
Like
sensitivity? Water just makes it, like, you got to wipe it off.
Yeah, it'll read, like, as multiple contacts and stuff. I guess Kanye got kicked off of Apple Music.
For what?
Talking shit about Taylor?
This
is like, again, I reference a Scorpion.
Yeah.
The album was also wiped off the Apple Music charts, according to Billboard. Earlier this Thursday, wait, what's Vulture Eye? Oh, the album's called Vulture, right? Oh, no. Oh, Vulture's 1. Oh, so it's a multi-part thing?
Sure.
So this is Vulture's 1. So Vulture's 1's distribution company known as Fuga. What does that stand for?
Who knows? The man obviously has mental illness that's not being treated.
Fuga for us get assaulted? I don't know.
Get ass.
Get ass, yeah. Which is Fuga, which is a business-to-business tech and distribution platform for labels. Oh, okay. So has nothing to do with Kanye. Plan to work on digital service providers, blah, blah. What did he say about fucking Taylor? You idiots, what do you think we came here for? He posted a tweet that encouraged Swifties to purchase and stream Beyonce's newest single, Texas Hold'em, in order to block him from the #1 spot.
Which, by the way, Beyonce's culturally appropriating? Just like a cowboy?
All caps post, when I said that I'm the new Jesus, bitch, I wasn't even thinking about Taylor Swift. That was a whole line before, but I appreciate the free promo. Yeah, he goes on, but he's not really, like, talking shit about her. I'm sure I've been far more helpful to Taylor Swift's career than harmful. I would agree.
Yeah.
To all Taylor Swift fans, I'm not your enemy. I'm not your friend either, though. Lots of laughs. Oh, he also addressed he says I didn't get kicked out of the Super Bowl. We left our seats to go to YG's box and see different friends. I believe that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did he buy tickets directly in front of Taylor Swift to fuck with her and her fans? Yes, he did. Did he then move on to go see other people that were at the game? Probably.
Well, actually, no. A point has been made about the ticket. Like, he had no idea where her fucking box was. Like, you can't think about what they're saying. Hey, I want the tickets from Taylor Swift's box. You think people can actually make that purchase no matter what level of wealth they have?
I think that if do you
think the person selling tickets even knows what box Taylor Swift's going to be in? I guess that's the point I'm making.
I don't know, and I'm talking out my ass, but I think that there are people who would know who's going where and who's rented out certain boxes.
I agree with that, but I don't think they're selling the tickets.
No. But, if you got connections and the right money, you can call up somebody who's managing this shit, and say, hey, I know that Taylor Swift's obviously she's going to be at the game. How close can I get to her box?
All right, how about that? In 2024.
I think it's totally conceivable that could happen. And I would bet money that it did happen, honestly, because I can't, you're saying that it was just by chance that these two ended up this close in proximity?
I'm saying, another point I'll make, in 2024, when everyone wants to be a fucking hero, you think someone wanted to be caught as the person who sold the tickets to Kanye in front of Taylor Swift's box?
I don't know. Well, it doesn't. It's not even like a one-to-one thing. You can get the information from one person about where she's sitting and get the tickets somewhere else.
Because I'd like to think the opposite.
You got to have plausible deniability.
I'm the person who stopped who Kanye tried to buy the tickets in front of Taylor's box, and I stopped him. I'm likely to think more of that happens.
Yeah, I don't know. But again, you'd have to know what he was up to, right? Like, if somebody from Kanye's team reached out, we just want to know where Taylor's going to be. Maybe that means they want to be somewhere else. We don't want to be near Taylor. Oh, no problem. She's over here. Okay. Click. Call somebody else. Hey, give me tickets in front of this box. I don't know. I think it's 100% plausible that he did it to fuck with her. I mean, he's fucking with her now. He's still fucking with her. He's always been fucking with her. Because that's his fucking competition. And this is like the least crazy part of Kanye. This is Kanye being a rapper, right? This is what rappers do. They diss the competition.
Exactly.
And I think the only reason it keeps going is because Taylor won't fucking put his name on a record and say, fuck you, Kanye.
Right.
Right? That's how you end this shit. All right. They're playing two different games. That's what these two people are doing. They're playing completely different games.
It's true.
I guess Bill Maher had an interview with Kanye, one of his Club Random.
Shelved it.
Yeah, completely shelved the thing.
Because he called him he said, because he's a very charming anti-Semite.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm a longtime fan of Bill Maher's, but that doesn't mean that, I think he's right all the time. I'm a longtime fan of Bill Maher's because whether I think he's right or not, or the people think he's right or not, he generally sticks to his guns, and even at times where he is wrong, he owns it.
I'm willing to bet
he's a straight shooter, whatever people think of him.
I'm willing to bet someone above Bill Maher said, "You're not fucking putting that interview out," because Bill Maher seems like the type to me who'd be like, "Here you go, form your own opinion."
I think that
perhaps HBO said you're not putting out an interview.
I'll say
with
this
Kanye
much.
West.
Whatever the decision was, I feel confident saying Bill Maher was thoughtful about it. Whether I think he made the right decision or not, he was thoughtful. And it's his show. He can do whatever the fuck he wants. If he doesn't want his show to have a certain, that's fine. He is not the bastion of free speech. He's not the guy who's decides whether or not Kanye is allowed to talk.
No, because I think I think Bill Maher does whatever HBO wants.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think HBO does whatever Bill Maher wants to keep him happy because they like having him on the station. He's pretty open. I listen to his podcast on the regular. Mm-hmm. He's pretty open, or at least seems to be, about his relationship with all of his employees.
But I mean, I guess what I'm just saying is look at what happened with Jon Stewart and Apple. That shows nobody is, you get too close to the third rail, they go,
Yeah, but I don't think history's on your side in this argument either, because, when he was called out for his comments about how the 9/11 hijackers were quote unquote brave for, what they did was brave, just meaning on its face, who else would, these people flew a plane into a building for their religion and their political cause and whatever.
Didn't he lose his gig over that?
Yes, he lost his gig over it. Yes. He didn't go back on air the next day and retract it all and say, please keep me on air.
Mm-hmm.
They said, if you're going to say shit like that, you need to go. And he said, okay, I guess I need to go.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, whose decision ultimately it was. Like, he went on to HBO where, you know, they put less restrictions on him. Now, do they put some restriction? I'm sure there's some times where they've said no, but I don't get the feeling that's a relationship at all.
Well, absolutely. Oh, absolutely.
Bill Maher kind of knows
that is a
where
revenue-based relationship. It is an entertainment relationship.
Yeah, but I think they also trust Bill to, like, he knows what he wants his show to be, and he's not trying to make it into something that, you know, turns people away. But, you know, Club Random it's not owned by HBO. It's completely separate. They don't pay for anything. He makes money off of his ad revenue, and he's doing fucking, you know, diet pills and weight loss shit and all these same ad reads everybody else is doing.
It just seems like, back to what we were talking about earlier, right?
Mm-hmm.
You knew what you were getting.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. What?
Like,
you wanted to put Kanye on.
You invited Kanye on. He acted like Kanye, and I like, well, yeah. I can't put this out because he was acting like Kanye.
It's just, I guess there, you know, Kanye went on a whole circuit for a while there.
Oh, yeah.
And everybody interviewed him, but not everybody put their interviews out. A lot of people sat on him. Bill's not alone. And, yeah, I just, Lex Friedman podcast I listen to a lot. This kid's super smart, and, you know, he's interviewed all kinds of people. You know, fucking Bill Gates was on his show. He's some kid. I call him a kid because I don't think he's like 30 yet.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, you know, coder, probably invested well, like is like, you know, well off, and does this podcast now and gets to talk to all kinds of people. He had Ben Shapiro on, you know, say what you will about that dude, but Jared Kushner, Mark Zuckerberg, he's not conservative. Like, he has conservatives on. That just happens to be a string of them that I'm listing off there.
So he talks to smart people.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a bunch of others here that I'm not saying because nobody really knows who these people are, but like scientists, FBI, ex-FBI agents, experts on climate change. Yeah, and there's his Kanye interview from last October. Showing as unplayed on mine. Actually, it shows that I played about, I think, 10 minutes of it, and I just couldn't do it. I don't know. I have it saved. Like, I mean to go back and listen to it, because Lex Friedman, he's not going to bring Kanye on to shame him or like reprimand him, but he's not a confrontational interviewer, but, you know, if somebody says some crazy shit, he's not just going to like go along with it. So I don't know. I'm kind of curious, but just the fact that he actually did put his interview out. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Do we really think that this guy is that dangerous? That his message?
I think he's mentally ill. I heard that round
absolutely
he went on last year, I think wasn't a year and a half ago now? I think he is mentally ill.
Yeah.
I think he is, and he's so rich, he has a bunch of people around him that don't tell him no, because the gravy train stops if they say no.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right on that. But, like, what is Bill Maher, Bill Maher saying that because his reasoning again was that he's too charming.
But this is where
he's wrong, and he's too charming about why he's wrong.
I think there's other,
and that doesn't give me enough credit as his audience.
That's
right?
Where I think there's other forces at play. This doesn't seem like consistent Bill Maher behavior.
Yeah.
When have you ever heard about Bill Maher shelving anything?
I take him at his word. Like, I don't feel like he would have made up an answer. Like, if there was forces beyond him that kind of came down and said, we don't want to be associated with this, then he probably would have said nothing about it. But to come out and say, you know, if what you're saying is true, then what he's saying publicly is bullshit, his reasoning. I don't see that as like, if he had the option to go out and lie for no reason or just say nothing about it because nobody was asking him really, or just had no comment on it, then like, why wouldn't he just pick no comment?
Because he's an entertainer.
That's true.
Gotta always remember that about Bill. He started as a stand-up comedian. There is like an image thing with those people. Remember, it takes a special kind of narcissist to be famous.
Speaking to TMZ's Harvey Levin for a documentary on West that is currently streaming on Hulu, Maher worries about his influence on the younger generation. Quote, this is his quote. The problem, I think, is that he appeals mostly, of course he's a rock star, to young people. They don't know much, and they surely don't know much about the Middle East or Jews.
A podcast has brought this up. Does he? At this point, he's 45. Does he appeal to young people?
I don't know. So the combination of Kanye out there, I feel like he was helpful for spreading the fertilizer, and I do mean fertilizer, for this idea that Israel and the Jews are the worst people in the world. Yeah. Well, it's hard to argue that, but you also have to, how do you get to the point where you invited somebody that you knew was an open anti-Semite on your show?
But the other thing I'll say is...
Or maybe he didn't know. Maybe he was like, is there something to this anti-Semitism? Put him on the show and found out, oh, yes, there is. Okay, we can't air that.
But also, too, why I think it's mental illness. This Jew shit is new because, bringing back to Kanye's age, I was young when Kanye came out. I was 20-something when I loved the man's first 3 albums. I stick with the man till after graduation. That's when I graduated as a Kanye fan.
Yeah.
He went in a different direction musically, wasn't with it. Kind of the same with how he's gone publicly too. But that's and none of that stuff. None of the tracks he did with Jay-Z. Nothing about the Jews. Maybe talk more shit about black people and white people than anybody else.
Yeah. Well,
like with what Bill's saying, like this anti-Semitism stuff is new. This is development like the last decade for this man. Like,
yeah,
like he said, sowing the seeds.
Yeah, there's not early hints in those albums. Because
it wasn't like, I'm messing with a gold digger, except them Jews. No, it wasn't like that. Yeah. Not at all.
I think, so the thing about racism against Jews, and what makes it so pervasive, is that it's not just regular racism, it's tied into conspiracy theories, right? It's not just like saying, if I was to speak as a racist, I'm not a racist, obviously, but a racist might say, I don't like black people, I think they're all lazy, right? That's just naked racism. Right?
Yes.
Whereas if he said something about Jews, it might be, I don't like Jews, they're controlling everything. Now you got racism and a whole nother level of conspiracy stacked on top of that, right? And when you get into the conspiracies territory, this is where the crazy mind goes. People with mental illness tend to go for, conspiracy theories about all kinds of shit. And this is just one of those. I'm not saying that as a defense of his stance at all, because it's still naked racism and wrong. I'm just saying that's why not only does it stick, but why it might make sense to somebody suffering from mental illness as Kanye West seems to be.
True.
I remember there's this guy who used to work for my parents owned a frame shop and art store. And we had this guy who, I think he started coming in for drawing lessons. And then he would just come and hang out. And he was real nice. And he was probably autistic, although we weren't calling it that at the time. I mean, this was still, this was the days of Corky. Everyone was just the R word. And, he was real quiet. And, But when he did start talking, he would start going into all these things about, secret cabals ruling the earth and he would talk about Jews too, amongst many other crazy things. Like he was full on talking about like lizard people in the Senate and shit like that.
Ah, yes. Good old lizard people.
And he would do these crazy drawings. They kind of looked like they were well done, actually. He would do it on a big poster board, like a 2 foot by 3 foot piece of poster board. And it would kind of look like, it was like art style that was like Al Jaffe, who did like the Mad Fold-In. And, kind of cartoony, but still like a realistic look to it. And yeah, it would be like, all the world leaders with their hands on a planet or something, or there'd be like a fucking mushroom cloud and like, a war scene. Everything was about like the world ending and the world being controlled by somebody. This was a guy who was suffering from I don't know what you would call it or what we would call it these days.
Definitely paranoia.
Whatever he was suffering from, this is an antenna for these types of, wacky ideas. And that's all we're seeing in Kanye. I agree with you. We're not seeing like, somebody who's like, finally I'm in a position of power so I don't have to keep my anti-Semitism undercover. No. This is new ideas to him. He suddenly realized the Jews were running the world. Right? And it just made sense to him.
And I don't know if you follow Kanye, but you can kind of follow the decline in the man's mental health to his mom dying.
Yeah, I don't, but yeah.
Like his mom died and he fucking went nuts.
Yeah.
And also,
it's a little broad, but sure, tragedies can tip people over, yes.
And by the way, you also reminded me, I defy you to find a black guy who gets pissed off if you assume he has a big penis.
Yes.
The brothers seem to have no problem with that stereotype at all.
Sure. But that's not really racism, is it? I don't know.
But the stereotype,
maybe to
the
some
stereotype,
people,
and you're told stereotypes are racism.
Yeah, not all stereotypes are racism. Not all cats are ocelots.
You never heard...
But all ocelots are cats.
I just got my ass whooped by a bunch of black guys. Why? I said they all had big dicks. That's a conversation that's never happened.
I don't know. I can see that happening. So you guys all got big dicks, right?
Oh, no, I can see that happening. I said they all had big dicks and I wanted to see them.
Excuse me, brother.
Yeah, then you get your ass whooped.
I think you just go up to a strange black man and talk about his dick.
Hey, man.
You got a 50-50 chance of getting your butt whipped.
Hey, man, I heard you got...
I think in Detroit, they're not going to stop to wonder why you asked about their dick.
Fair point. You're like, look at that cracker getting his ass whooped at a bus stop. Hey, guys, I'm taking a survey.
Look at that. Throwing away a perfectly good white boy. All right, we got to get out of here before we get ourselves into some real trouble.
Yeah. There's a line, and we're at it.
Yeah.
Before we go over it.
We're just looking over the edge.
Yeah. Yes.
So that's what Oblivion looks like.
So just go to the social media at the Weedsman 420 is where we're at. Christopher Media is also, or ChristopherMedia.net is also where we are at. It also contains a PayPal button if you'd like to help us out. Wherever you listen to the show, if you got the ability to rate and or review it, also just tell somebody. Let's go, hey, you, I like this podcast.
Yeah.
And then share it.
That's the best
airdrop
advertisement.
It, whatever you got to do.
Just airdrop it to random people on an airplane.
Yeah. The podcast.
They can't track you.
Yeah. Airdrop the podcast to people on an airplane.
Hey, Siri.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, see, mine's activated.
All right, see. Say hi.
Stay high.
The Weedsman Podcast. ChristopherMedia.net.